So I just wanted to welcome you to the Center for Learning and Practice. We're relatively new, about 2 years old, and encourage you to go here. You can enroll and learn more about what we do. But we're really focused on workforce development in the learning space and wherever those learnings take place. We have in the last, our first initiative after structuring the Center for Learning and Practice was to create the Refugee Educator Academy. And you can learn more about that as well on the site. And you'll also see some of the offerings that we're doing. And just to say, where a lot of things are coming up. If you're interested in giving a webinar, let us know. We will continue to have webinars and courses, and we are in pilot phase. We're designing and redesigning and always looking for feedback, particularly as the Refugee Educator Academy develops, and there's much happening on that front, including in August convening an intensive workshop design, which we'll be announcing on blended learning in the refugee context. So we're not going to talk about that here. And also I encourage you, again, something else we're testing is this Refugee Educator Academy library, which is organized around the topics that we are focused on, which have to do with analytics, coaching, communities of practice, knowledge sharing, and then some other specific refugee-focused topics. So I thank you for coming and growing with us as we're in our itsy-bitsy infancy here and wanting to be as responsive as we can to the refugee educator community broadly. I want to thank Mona for offering to do this webinar, because we're just, as we said, this is all new for us. And so I'm going to turn it over to Julie and Mona, and Mona can tell you more about herself, or Julie will do the introduction. And I encourage you all to post any questions, ask us anything about anything, and we will follow up with a open forum discussion with Mona sometime after this webinar. So thank you all. I'm going to turn my screen off and hand it over to the people who actually really know what they're doing.
Thank you, Diana. I'm so honored to be able to introduce you this morning, Mona. We were saying as we were logging in and getting set up that everyone knows Mona, and it seems that you're in a very important position in terms of this work around technology and education in crisis contexts. And so we're really pleased that you're sharing some of your knowledge and expertise and this particular tool with us this morning. As you read when you were logging in, Mona is the co-convenor of the INEE Technology and Education in Crisis Task Team, the Interagency Network for Education in Emergencies. And she's, as the co-convenor of that team, she's helped to develop this tool that we'll be looking at, this inventory that we'll be looking at this morning. Her passion and her work really focuses on ed tech, especially to empower refugee learners. And she's currently working on research in Jordan looking at blended learning and secondary refugee students, and what their experiences are and sort of how these tools are helping them progress with their goals. And if you want to say any more about that, Mona, before you get into things, you're welcome to. But we're really pleased to have you sharing your work with us this morning. And I'm going to hand it over to you. Just for the participants again, please post questions as we're going in the chat space. I'll be monitoring that. And then after the presentation, we'll have a nice discussion with Mona about this tool and anything related. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Julia. Can everyone hear me? Okay, I hope so. Good. Like Julia said, first of all, before saying anything, thank you, Diana, for this opportunity to host this webinar and to introduce the ICT Inventory for Education in Emergencies. Thank you, Julia, for coordinating all the work. Now, very quickly, like Julia said, my name is Mona Younes. I have been working as independent consultant in the MENA region, mostly with Syrian refugees, and my passion lies with ed tech and the usage of ICT in education emergencies context. I've been doing some research around that. Now, that's enough about myself, and let's jump into the topic itself. Today, I'm going to introduce you a little bit to the ICT Inventory for Education in Emergencies. Why? Because this is a very newly and recently launched tool that is open and that is online and very much interactive. And we really hope that you will be able to make the best use out of it, because it has been designed actually with the purpose of people on the ground, working on the ground, to make use of it and to use it and to facilitate their work. Now, who is behind the whole work or the ICT inventory? It's the Interagency Network for Education in Emergencies. And this is an open and global network that has the goal to promote access to quality and safe, not only quality and safe, but also relevant education to all persons affected by crisis. And when we say the word crisis, we mean all kinds of emergencies, either that are human-made or maybe through natural disasters. The INEE network, the INEE network is actually a huge network because it has over 14,000 members from all around the world, and it has got also hundreds of organizational partners. Those partners include very big names like UNICEF, UNESCO, Save the Children, Plan, etc., many more. And all of them are working on the front lines of humanitarian response all around the world. INEE plays a facilitating role. It is by no means competitive. It has a very minimal formal structure. When you go to the offices of INEE there in New York, you will find only, I think, 6 or 7 people sitting on desks. All the others are, or most of the very active members are volunteers. The role of INEE is actually a facilitative role, and among others, focusing on community building, networking, knowledge management, and advocacy. I really do encourage everyone to go to the ineesite.org and to join. You will find a lot of resources there. Now, one of the spaces, the network spaces within the INEE is the Tech Task Team. TECH stands for Technology and Education in Crisis. And this task team is a group of nonprofit, academic, philanthropic, and private sector experts who focus on the usage of ICT or EdTech in the context of education in emergencies, and who really try to share the knowledge and share information about that field. Now, the Tech Task Team has 3 very specific and very specific objectives. We are there, or this group and network is there actually hoping to share knowledge and information and to build evidence-based for good practice and to enable practitioners to carry out their work in a much more efficient and much more effective way. The second objective that we have is to maintain the ICT for education in emergencies landscape, which means documenting and distributing knowledge and information about efforts that are going on the ground, either those that are really promising or even other that we can learn from. And the third objective is to elevate the experience of people working on the ground by promoting the ideas and promoting innovations in the area of the usage of ICT and EdTech, and enhancing the awareness about that and promoting, advocating new innovations. This ICT inventory for education emergencies that I'm talking about today falls under all 3 objectives, and very happy to tell you that it has been recently launched. It was launched on the 20th of March, last March. Now, let's go to the next slide. The ICT inventory for education emergencies, the inventory itself has a very clear goal. It wants to make it easy to find useful tools and real-world examples of technology use in crisis contexts. The ICT inventory has been built and designed with that goal in mind. We know that there are other inventories, repositories, databases online and on the web. However, what we are doing here is a little bit unique because we are trying to fill a gap, and that gap is by focusing very specifically on those educations that are educational, focusing on education in emergencies, and that are using ICT. Other repositories are doing something maybe different and are having a different perspective or lens. It is completely education emergency focused and focused on projects and tools that have an ICT component. The second thing that we are trying to do, which is a little bit different than others, is that we are trying to have an inventory that is crowdsourced and of a crowdsourced nature. What do we mean by that? We mean that you the audience, the users are going to do the work and to upload the projects and the tools. Of course, we would be able to do that as a team. We can do that. But we don't want to do that because the project owners, the tool owners, are those people who are really involved in the work and really know about the work much more than we do, and would be better people to upload content about it and to promote it, and they really know better what do they want to share with the outside audience and how do they want to share it with the outside audience. And the third thing is, it is expert vetting. There is some kind or a light touch of expert vetting. That means when the users and the audience and the practitioners on the ground are uploading content, the expert team, or let's say the ICT inventory content management team, will look into the content, will try to review it and make sure that it is relevant to the focus of this inventory, that it is detailed enough so that people really would make use of it, and number three, it is accurate. And that is actually the biggest focus. We want the information to be really very accurate so that people can make use of it. For whom is this ICT inventory for education emergencies actually directed or focusing? Who are the target audience? The target audience are actually the program, the project owners, the donors, people on the ground, practitioners, researchers. And we really do also hope that maybe students studying international education or comparative education and education emergencies can make the best use out of it. Now, we tried to do a structure that is very much responsive and interactive, and to design it in a way where it has a big component of it is a very much comprehensive categorization structure. Now, the next slide, yes. The ICT inventory for education emergencies is focusing on two areas. It is focusing on tools and projects. And there is a distinction, and we really would like you to understand the distinction. It's very important for anyone who will use the inventory. The tools, what do we mean by tools? We mean by tools any hardware or software that would facilitate the learning and increase the ability to deliver and access quality education. Those tools can be something like platforms, equipment, systems, software, hardware, anything of that sort. It's the hardware and the software. It can be tablets, it can be a mobile app, it can be a platform, a data collection tool, something of that sort. That's different than the projects. When we say projects, we mean any planned effort that has been designed in order to provide education. Projects may include both. It can include short-term and it can also include long-term interventions, and any kind of intervention we mean here, as long as it is focused on education emergencies and has an ICT component in it. Those interventions can be collaborative, done in partnership, solidarity endeavors, any kind of planned effort designed to provide education for people in emergencies and in crisis settings. Now here comes the fun part of the presentation or of the webinar. We really would like you to use it, to share it, and to contribute to it. How to use it, how to share it, contribute to it. I am going now to share my other screen, and that is the inventory itself. And I will try to show you how to make the best use of this, inventory. Now, this is how it looks like. No, sorry, let's go to home. Yes. Yes. Here. When you write down ict.ineesite.org, this is what you will find. You will find a web page or a landing page, and in the landing page you will find a couple of featured projects and tools with their pictures, with a very small and quick description and briefing about it. And these are featured ones that we really want to promote, and we try to put them as diverse as possible here in this space. Then beneath that you have 3 columns. One of them includes all the featured tools and projects, and then comes the recently added ones. And I have reviewed those ones last week, and they are new. And then you can browse. Now I'm going to actually show you how to browse, how to search, how to filter, how to register, and how to upload material. The very first thing is to show you the landing page and how to browse the landing page. That's straightforward. Now, to browse, you can either browse the projects or the tools. Let's say, for instance, we go to the projects. Here you have a landing page of the projects landing page, where you have got the examples here, the uploaded material here, the projects, the planned efforts in the field. They are on the left side. On the right side, you have the search engine. And as you can see, we have tried as much as possible to put categorization groups. Those categorization groups are by project area, location, context, target population, educational level, and project limitation. Now, this is how you can browse. Now, let's look into the search icon itself. Now, for instance, I want to search the projects that are mobile. I just put the word mobile here, and powered by Algoria, you will see all the projects which has a mobile component displayed on the right side. Here you can see them. This is how you can search for using a particular keyword. Now, let's use the filter, which is another feature. For filtering, I will go to the tools. For instance, I can do it with the projects or with the filters, but I really wanted to show you the tools landing page. This is the tools landing page, and you can see all the tools that have been uploaded. And here is the search, and you can filter. Let's say, for instance, I am going to look, I am interested to look for tools that are in the operational stage. Okay, we have 20. I want to see those that are free. Okay, network, platform, hardware, software, I'm not interested. I am interested to look maybe into those that are focusing on language learning and that are targeting refugees, for instance, and those that are actually focusing on early childhood, for instance. This is how I can filter my search. And I do that. What do I find? I find here Khan Academy and I find Feed the Monster. If you don't know Feed the Monster is an award-winning mobile app for Arab-speaking early childhood learners. Let's go here so that I show you. sorry for that. So that I can show you how it looks like. Here you have a brief description of the tool itself, of this mobile app, and more importantly, you can comment. You can rate the project here and give it a star, or you can comment and write your comment here, and you can submit. Here you will have additional information about the hardware, the software, the application and services, the location, the context, the target of a population, and educational level, and even the tool limitations, and who are the collaborators, who are the project or the tool owners, etc., etc. You will have a lot of information on the left side. This is how we can filter. Now, after filtering and after showing you how to comment and how to rate, I really wanted to show you how to register. Registering is very straightforward. When you open the ICT.INEE site.org for the first time, you will find this register button here, and it will ask you to register. And what you have to do is just to put your name and your last name. You will have to put your email and the password. And when you have done that, it will send you an email. With a link, and clicking on the link, you'll find yourself on this page where you are with online, and you can log in. It will ask you for a username and password, and then you can log in. When you log in, you are able. This is when I log in. This is how it looks like, and after that, this is how it looks like, and after that, you can upload. Now, supposedly, you are working on a project, and that project has got a tool, and you want to promote that tool, and you find the ICT inventory a good space in order to promote it. How to do that? First of all, the very first step, you sit down and think, what do you want to promote? Is it the project or is it the tool? Do you want to promote the planned efforts that have been done in order to provide education emergency by using ICT and EdTech? Or is it that you really want to promote the tool itself that has been used? If you decide to promote both, that's okay. However, try as much as possible to differentiate your description when you promote the project by focusing on the project itself, the phases of the project, the collaborators, the challenges, and from the tool. And when you promote the tool itself, try to make it as useful as possible for the audience and for the users of the inventory by focusing on the hardware and software and more detailed around the tool itself. It has to be different. If we have repetitive, one of them will be actually deleted. Now, Let's say, for instance, you want to promote a tool and to upload information and content related to a tool. It's very straightforward. The name of the tool, you have to have a picture of the tool or people using the tool or the refugees, returnees, stateless, whatever, while they are engaging with your tool. Then a description. And we really don't want to have it very long, and we are suggesting to have it the length of 100 to 500 words. You can have a little bit more, but try to put in mind that the users of the internet really don't like to scroll down, scroll down. Now you have to put the tool developer or the owner. Is it now an organization, NGO, the government? Who is the owner of that tool? And the tool website, the tool collaborators website. And sometimes the tool is something that has no website. For instance, it is distributing tablets for kids in a camp in Kenya. This you can be left empty, or you can just write no website available. Now here you have to put the when has it been started and developed, and the stage of the development. You just click here and you will find the different stages, and you choose one from those stages. You choose a cost. Is it free? Is it paid? One-time cost, subscription, or anything else? The network requirements, the hardware, software, platform requirements, and the application and services. What kind of service is it providing actually? Is it blogging, audio production? Is it communication, messaging, professional development, dictionaries? What is it actually? Then the location of it, in which geographical area or region, and then the context, rural, urban, camp, acute conflict, protracted conflict, the target audience, and the educational level here, and the tool limitation. If you are aware of some kind of tool limitations, you can pick and choose one from the list and put it. And very importantly, we need to know who is the one who is uploading this content, so that we can be sure that they really know about this tool. Either they have been using it, they have been implementing it, applying it in the context of emergencies, they are part of the organization, etc. And they put their name here and who gave them the permission. For instance, someone put, I'm actually heading the department in charge of implementing that or that tool. And click submit, and that's it. It's very easy, it's straightforward, it's not complicated at all. Anyone can do that. What will happen after uploading a tool or after uploading a project? What will happen is that we will have the back end. On that back end, the ICT inventory content management team will look into the material. Maybe after 72 hours maximum, or maybe 4 days, they will review it, and you will either find it being populated online, or you get an email asking you maybe for more clarifications, or highlighting something that is contradicting, or asking you where is, like happened yesterday. I emailed someone asking him where is the ICT component in the whole project. The project sounds great and brilliant, but we cannot understand where is the ICT component that has been used here. And that is how you make the best use of it. Again, I cannot stress more how important it is that the users and the audience make use of it and upload whatever they have, the project, the programs, the tools they are using on the ground, to upload them here so that other people, practitioners, can use, can make best use of the inventory. Now, people who are working on the ground, practitioners, know fairly well that we are all suffering from reinventing the wheel. Someone is doing something in Syria, it's working brilliantly, no one but here in Uganda knows about it, and they start from zero, while it is there is no need to start from scratch if there is a better way to share the knowledge, a better way to share the case studies, the real life case studies of initiatives and projects. And this is what we are actually trying to do. We are actually trying to fill that gap by having an inventory, by having something that is useful for people who are working on the ground. People maybe in Sudan, South Sudan, are suffering of not having enough connectivity and they need a solution. If they look here, they will find something like Colibri, for instance, from Learning Equality, and they might find that tool very useful to them. They might want to contact those people or to replicate something similar or develop something similar, and they can make use of that. It's very important that we all try to help each other and upload as much as possible real case studies, real tools that are on the ground, so that everyone can make the best use of that. Now let's go back for 1 second to the presentation. Here in the presentation again, I just wanted to make it very clear, ict.ineesite.org. Please do use it, share it with everyone, and try to contribute to that and to make the best use out of it. And that's it. And I am really open for any kind of questions.
Mona, thank you so much. Thank you. That was a very clear overview, and I think it will be easy for people to plug in. I'm going to ask everyone if you want to unmute yourself to be able to ask questions, and if you want to turn on your video, you're welcome to do so as well. But we have about 20 minutes for discussion, and so I want to open it up to any questions that you might have for Mona.
I'll jump in. This is Diana. And Mona, I was just wondering if you could just say a little bit about the background and the team that worked on it. It's quite impressive and quite a big lift, and I'm just curious how you managed to get all of this done.
Yeah.
And who funded it?
To be very honest, the hero behind the whole ICT inventory and the development of it was Peter Transburg, the communication coordinator of INEE, and he has done a lot of tremendous work and working with the developers. Then the other team that is working at the back end are members of the tech task team, volunteers. We have on board Dr. Negin Dehia, and people might know her. She is a professor, and her specialty is education emergencies, and she has done quite research on the ground about the ICT in education emergencies landscape. We have Stephen Richardson, who is working in Jordan with NRC. We have Shazleen, we have Nina from World Reader. and myself, we are the team who is trying to review the content that's coming in and to upload more and to communicate with people who have got tools and who have got projects to encourage them in order to upload and to promote the ICT inventory amongst them.
Thank you.
Yes.
And thank you, INEE.
Yeah.
Are there any other? Rosemary.
Yeah, I had a question. Mona, it was amazing. You should have taught that whole digital tools part of the class with all those things that you have there. I may have missed it because when I listen, I sometimes close my eyes to concentrate. But I was wondering, in the upload section, is there a part that says what would be required to use this tool? I think it's web-based, or so. Could you clarify that for me?
Yes. When we upload, it depends on what we are going to upload. Let's say we are going to upload a tool. Now I'm going to click here. You will see here different categorization groups.
Okay.
One of those is the platform requirement.
Right. Okay.
We need a mobile phone, radio, tablet. What do we need? What are the requirements? What are the network requirements to use that tool? And the hardware requirements, the software requirements. No, there are, it's very specific and very nicely categorized, so that people really would understand what is it.
Right, and that's essential information. I think that's a really valuable aspect of the inventory. And then I wondered, just in terms of collaboration, is it possible to kind of connect the people, somebody that uploads something with somebody that was interested in that tool, just to get sort of information? Would that be an aspect to be considered?
Yes, of course. Whenever someone is interested, they send us an email and we can put him in contact with the owner of that tool or that project. And that's why we were very keen to have here a tool website and the tool collaborators URL to be put here, so that people would be directed to something or someone. If this is not helping enough, they can contact us and we can put them into contact with the person who has uploaded this. Therefore, it's very important for us to know who exactly is doing that and what's his email, so that we can contact him.
I think that would build a great community in terms of looking at how something could be adapted for a particular situation, or looking at how something might be tweaked a little bit to be a little bit more relevant to a particular classroom context. I think that's a great part of the upload form.
Yes. Yes, and I forgot to tell you also that we have uploaded a couple of tools. If you search and if you browse those tools, you will find some of them that, like Udacity, for instance, or like WhatsApp. These are tools that have the potential to be used in those contexts. Sometimes they have not yet been used, but we really want to raise the alert people and raise their awareness that these are tools that are out there that have a real big potential to be used and can be used in crisis contexts.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Yes.
Hi
Any
there.
other questions? I'm here. I'm still here.
Yeah, it's Dorit. Can I?
Oh, hello?
Hello, do you hear me?
I'm hearing two voices. Kitty, can we get your question first and then we'll get yours, Zorka?
Okay.
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 Thank you.
Hi, sorry, can you hear me okay?
Perfect.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for the presentation. That was super interesting. I think just to follow on maybe the last point, it's a very useful resource to have all these opportunities in one place. I think from my perspective, so I'm in Bangladesh at the moment, what I see as the next step potential for this, this forum or website is basically to have, I don't know from the INEE perspective, but what can INEE do in terms of contextualizing or providing the support or the opportunities to have these tools that can be the kind of the global level tools, but then contextualized to different environments. So if I look at some of the literacy tools that are here, they're very specific. And so is there any kind of forward planning on how to create, maybe as well as having the tools, but as well having a kind of guidelines or toolkit on how to contextualize these for different contexts?
I fully understand your concern, because contextualization is a very, very big issue. And I am really a very big advocate of contextualizing content and curriculum and the systems and programs for the different locations, regions, and contexts. However, on the INEE website itself, there is another group that is working on the minimum standards. Yes, and within that group, there are people who are working on contextualization. And they are actually now, let's say, the experts in contextualization. And I think they are the best people to go to and to refer to when there is a program and you really do think it's very useful, but has to be contextualized. And if you find yourself in a situation and you want to have contacts to those people, just send us and we can help with that.
Okay, thank you.
If I might chime in on that question, this is Peter Transberg from INEE.
Hi.
Yes, hi. I just wanted to add, really brilliant job, Mona. Really great. This is amazing. I love the way you've presented this. But Kitty, in answer to your question, I think an additional response is that in fact the database itself will help show some of those contextualizations in the form of projects. So what we're trying to encourage is, of course, that people upload tools, but also the projects where those tools were used. And so we're hoping that, of course, you know, projects where WhatsApp and other more general or other literacy tools were used will be highlighted, and that we're still developing it, but in the system itself, we'll be able to highlight these related resources and related projects. So if someone clicks on a particular literacy tool, it will also display down among the other descriptors of that tool. It will display some of the projects that have been also posted in the system for that specific tool, which will provide some of that contextualization that you're talking about. So we have on the back end, we have that ability, but we haven't implemented it and rolled it out yet across the database to show those related, you know, basically to relate entries one to another. But that would be,
yeah, that would be super interesting. Like, I think I'm just coming from the perspective that the tools can sometimes potentially get lost without the description of how they were developed.
Yes.
And so it would, I don't know how to solve this issue, but to have maybe an inventory of tools which are a kind of the basic global, and then how they were contextualized. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah,
so people could pull off, okay, like this is for literacy, and then have an example of how it was contextualized and how the application was finally used in I don't know, Syria, for example, and then that overall guideline could be very much transferred to wherever you are.
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right. I think at this point the tech task team doesn't have that as a sort of ultimate output goal. And instead, like I was saying, sort of preferring to use the system to let the crowd provide those sort of examples and guidance. Okay. But you're, I mean, it would be an amazing addition to the database. So I just don't think that the tech task team at this point has that as a reasonable output that we're looking at.
Okay, no, but I'm very excited about all this, so thank you very much. It's just, you know, my goal in life to get something like this.
Yeah, of course. Well, if you write it, we will post it.
Okay, great. I will do. Thanks.
Thank you, Peter, for being here and for your work on this and for replying to that comment. It really is amazing, right, Kitty? I think we're all kind of like, "Woo, yay, this is great." There's a note in the chat box that I just want to draw attention to, and then I know Zorica has a question. Catherine Langsford has suggested for the long term adding a link to evaluation results or journal articles for relevant projects within the project section. And I think that's building upon what you were just saying, Peter, in terms of surfacing more of that backstory and more of that context. So thank you for that suggestion, Catherine. Catherine has a question posted here as well, but I want to go to Zorica because she was waiting, and then we'll jump back to Catherine's question.
It's not a problem because I partly got answer to my question, but first, thank you, Mona. You made me believe in ICT, and I'm scared of all these gadgets. So basically, what was my question was about the workforce, people who are using it, because I'm representing network working in Europe and Central Asia, and I'm going to share your platform with all our members. But the problem is the moment when you mention tools and IT or whatever, people are scared. So I got partly answer to my question with idea to connect it with concrete project and make people more relaxed. Because if somebody else did it, they can do it. So basically that was my question, and huge thank you. I think it's amazing what you're doing.
Like I said before, we really do not want to reinvent the wheel. A lot
Yeah,
has been happening.
that's the best part of your story. I support it. I have a lot of years of experience, and I did a lot of work with refugees, unfortunately, even in my country. And I'm surprised now by doing my work now that people are reinventing the wheel. Something that was done 40 or doesn't matter how many years ago, that people are spending energy and time and funds. And I think this is beautiful. And I'm very grateful for this. I'm going to use it in Greece. Thank you so much.
Very encouraging. Thank you. Now, let's go back to Catherine's question. Thank you, Catherine, for the question, because you are not the first one to ask that specific question. And it seems more and more people are asking that we do that and that we link the inventory to journal articles or evaluation results that came out that are related to specific projects or specific tools. And although this has not been our goal so far, but maybe we can put it as a future goal, because as we can see, more and more people are asking that this would happen, and it seems it is something that is very much needed. And we were thinking, just let it be launched and go out to the people and make use of it, and then we will have a second round of development. Thank you, Catherine. Now, then there was another question. If I know of any literacy-based projects for secondary schools in Sub-Saharan Africa, if you go to the inventory and you click on the location, Sub-Saharan Africa, and you choose literacy, and maybe numeracy and literacy as a topic, you will see what will pop up. Some projects, I think, will pop up in that area. Yes, you will find some. I don't have them out of my head now.
Thank you, Mona. We're just at about our hour, so we're going to be wrapping up. But I was wondering, Mona, obviously the next steps are to get the word out and to get people to upload tools and projects and really share this with each other. So Can you share with us some of the ways, obviously webinars like this, and I know you've been doing a few different webinars. What are some of the ways that all of us on this call can help to share the work and to move this forward?
If you can promote it throughout your networks, every one of us has some kind of a network. If we could use our networks to promote the inventory, would be brilliant. If you use it and share it with other people, that is what we really want to happen at this stage. And if you have some kind of a project or a tool that you have been using, please upload the content. Sharing and contributing. Using, sharing, contributing.
Perfect. And we will be uploading this recording and the PowerPoint with the links to our course site, and then we'll make that available widely again, so people can enroll not for the webinar so much as the post-webinar, which will be to watch the webinar, access the resources, and then we're hoping to have a discussion forum there. So we'll do all we can on our side, Mona, to continue to move the work forward. We appreciate that. Diana, do you have any closing words for folks that you want to share?
I just want to thank Mona again and INEE and everybody who came on the call, and encourage all of you to do as Mona requested and share the link to the platform. And we will have a structured conversation that will give people an opportunity to ask questions and have a deeper conversation in a written form, and we'll organize that with Mona, and it will be on learning.careyinstitute.org. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Mona,
you.
any closing words for us all? Some more wisdom? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for sharing your interest. And I hope it was useful and informative, and please make use of it.
Wonderful. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. We've got some notes in the chat. I'll save those. They'll also be uploaded to the course site. So we'll have all of that captured. Anybody else have any closing thoughts for today on this topic or the presentation?
Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening, day, wherever you are, whatever it is.